Hello and welcome, Legacy players.
Legacy
Welcome to
players.
Legacy Fight Night. We are here with Rax on the left and Verdant on the right, and we are here to play some Legacy tonight. So it should be a really good time. I am Prez BOTW, and I'm also joined by Beyond Sadistic. Just having a bit of camera troubles, it looks like, but we will
I'm
get there.
I'm actually not. I just have a player on top of me, which I'm gonna fix here in just a moment because I can move him. Hey, there I am.
There you are, perfect.
I'm like, we went live, and I'm like, wow, there's somebody over my face. What's going on here?
Technical difficulties, everybody.
Right. So yeah, as Prez said, my name is Beyond Sadistic, and we are the MTGPL, and tonight is Legacy Fight Night. Welcome everybody. I'm glad you could join us. So we got some pretty awesome stuff going on here. Prez, what do we got going on?
So tonight we have Rax on the left, and they will be on what I believe is Esper Flash. So a lot of it's an Aether Vial deck, lots of Flash creatures in it, including some of the new standard All Stars, I guess, from Ikoria, Spell
Cunning
Queller, stuff like
Nightbonder,
that.
baby.
Yes, Cunning Nightbonder. That is the name of the card.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be super interesting in that regard. And then we have Verdant on the right, and Verdant will be on Grixis control.
Grixis
So,
control. I'm pretty interested to see how this is going to go. A deck that wants to play on the stack, play its creatures on the stack, is going to be fighting a deck that wants to also engage on the stack. I think this is really going to be a pretty interesting night.
yeah, I agree.
So, but they've
Yes,
got.
Lady Swift Spear, I like that band as well, if you couldn't tell by my hat.
We were discussing that in the pre-show as we were warming up. Flesh God
Yeah.
Apocalypse is pretty much always our go-to. So tonight our table spotter is our moderator Pope Hoffy. He's gonna let him loose. Looks like Rax. They're gonna be on the play.
Yes, Rax will
Yeah.
be on the play, and Verdant is also on a mulligan to 6.
Ooh.
Rax is keeping 7. So it looks like we're getting a Tundra right into a Mother of Runes. So starting off hot here because you don't want to let that shield go up, especially with Grixis controls. You're trying to 1-for-1 your opponent a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Oh.
yeah, I totally do not blame Verdant here for this at all. That Mother of
Yeah.
Runes has to die.
And anytime you can get hot and heavy and bolt your mom, you want to do it.
I agree.
So Rax, they're gonna lead off with a Marsh Flats. Ooh, and a Brainstorm.
Ooh.
There it is. There is our signature Brainstorm token. That is
I believe that's
beautiful.
the first time I've seen that on stream.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's super hype.
That's amazing. So, for those who do not know, if you participate in our league challenges or on our weekly challenges, you can actually win one of these full art foil brainstorm tokens that Rax just cast right there.
Which I'm elated.
Yeah.
It's just like one of the greatest things I've seen. Oh, that's
so
cool.
excited about that.
So Rax is they're gonna fetch, probably get some mana or some color fixing.
Yeah, I would imagine
Ooh.
so. Interesting.
No, just a plains.
Just right into a plains.
All right. This Grixis control deck's got so much interaction. I really think this might be a difficult thing for Rax to navigate. Granted, it has its own threats, but Gurmag up again, Baleful Strix, and 3 Jace the Mind Sculptor, tons of interaction, 1 Force Negation, Elegance Command. There's just a lot that they're going to have to deal with here.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
And I love the Judge's Familiar. I think that's an awesome inclusion in this deck. It gives you a nice force spike against a spell if you need it.
Yeah, and I think it's good permission. It's good as well, and the fact that the Judge's Familiar is even there, you can put it in off an Aether Vial on 1 in response to an opponent tapping out to cast a spell. So you could really just get someone that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a Baleful Strix.
Yeah, fantastic creature. Looks there.
Like Rax is going to check their hand. Nope, we'll put those back down. Thank you so much to Rax for putting the dice on the... Makes it so much easier to see stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a good tip for knowing how many cards are in the hand there for sure.
Yeah,
Basic
absolutely.
island from Rax here.
That's probably why they didn't go in color fix, unless it's something
Yeah.
they drew off the top.
Exactly.
That's going to be a mom.
Another Mother's Familiar. Or Mother's Familiar.
Mother's
Oh my
familiar.
goodness. Mother's
She
or Mother of
flies.
Runes.
She protects your
Yeah.
creatures. She does it all.
Indeed.
Looks like mom's going to resolve. That's a win. That's a win right there.
Indeed. Now, the question is that will the mom survive until the shields are up?
Well, probably.
The interesting thing here is that if you had the Kolaghan's command to try and deal with the mom, you could. However, in this case right here, if Verdant actually taps out for the Kolaghan's command, the Judge's Familiar will be able to just counter it.
Correct. Very, very true. However, that does use up the Judge's Familiar.
That is true.
There's a Snapcaster.
Okay.
And probably Target Bolt.
Yeah. So the other thing here, though, that's interesting is that even if Rax just stacks the Judge's Familiar here, Verdant can't fight over that with counterspells.
No, because it's a creature activated ability.
Yes.
Although,
so it looks like we're just going to see the Bolt get countered, and now the shields are up on Mom.
Which is fine in a sense, though, because you were still able to do what you wanted to do. You still wanted to get rid of that. That way, you have the ability to fight on the stack where you actually want it.
Yes, I agree. So it looks like here we just see Rax play out the Caracas and then pass the turn. So Rax is on 4 mana, which, Verdant may think Rax doesn't have anything going on, but with playing, Flash as an archetype, pretty much everything they can cast off out of their hand. Diabolic Edict is really good here.
Yeah.
However, if we flash in another creature right now, that could be good. So I wonder if this is Spell Queller. It is.
Yep, absolutely. We'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah. So one thing to note, though, is that with Diabolic Edict getting exiled by Spell Queller, if that Spell Queller does die later on, Rax still has another Edict to deal with.
Correct. Which may actually come at the worst time that they could ever ask.
That's true. Yeah. And then, Verdant making sure it's separated out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to make a note. Put underneath the Spell Queller.
Yeah, good call. And it looks like we're just getting Baleful Strix crunching in for 1. Rax is going to take it and then pass the turn, or Verdant will pass the turn back. So now Spell Queller is online, and Spell Queller can attack.
Right.
Looks like Spell Queller is just coming into the red zone right now.
Which I pretty much agree with that one. I would start pushing, especially now at this point. Your opponent's on Grixis control. They really haven't done anything that's been too crazy that is outside of the realm of what Grixis control's game plan really is. Now's when I want to start putting pressure on, because at some point you're going to want to finish this game.
I agree completely. Yeah, we're getting a fetch land here from Verdant.
Mm-hmm.
Basic Swamp.
A good one. I like basic.
Yeah. Basic lands in general are good Magic cards.
Right? I have a little jar on top of my fridge. Got more of them.
Perfect. So one thing that I'm just curious of here. Oh, we're getting the Fatal Push there.
Yeah.
So there are 3 Wastelands in Rax's list.
Right. There's
so
K command.
Yeah.
So in response, K command. Now it's time to fight, because what's going to happen is that's going to target, and then the edict. You've got the edict as backup.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like we had here Fatal Push on the Spell Queller, tap Mom, give Pro Black, K command over top, 2 damage to Mother of Runes, and discard a card were the modes chosen.
Okay.
So we're getting a fetch in response from Rax here.
Right.
Because if this K command gets countered or something, and
Hard cast force.
Verdant can't fight over this, yeah, there's a hard cast force. Wow. And if
Wow.
this resolves, then this is just a huge blowout for Verdant, which it looks like it's going to.
Yeah, that's
Oof.
that's a lot.
That's
to
2
fight.
cards down for no value.
Right.
Especially for a card as good as K command. It looks like we're just getting a crunch for 2 with the Snapcaster here.
Right.
And then pass the turn.
Plus, Rax gets to protect their hand. They get to keep all their cards.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Not only that, but as well with the force, you're 1-for-1ing right there. Oh, and here's one of those wastelands there. So we're just going to see it fired off right now. Yeah, get that volcanic out of there for sure. Cutting them off red. Or at least make them go grab another one.
I really love this Flash Tribal deck. Granted, Standard is kind of in shambles right now, but in the last few months, this Flash Dimir Sultai type Flash deck has actually been something that I've really enjoyed playing. And now everybody's jumped onto Dimir Rogues, which has kind of got a Flash kind of aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
There's just something about playing with your creatures on the stack instead of on the battlefield. It's always been something I've enjoyed the idea of.
Yeah. Well, similar to the whole vein of Flash playing in on someone's end step, I've always been a big proponent that haste is an incredibly underrated ability. There's a lot of times where your opponent plays around the board state and you just put a big hasty threat down and kill them.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Haste is something it's always a blowout. It's always I didn't expect it. We now with Questing Beasts running around, we see it all the time, but yeah, haste is where you should be.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, when Rax won their Brainstorm token, they actually won it because of or I can't remember if it was on the game 2 that Rax won with the Questing Beast attack, but
right.
Good old hasty threats. Looks like we're getting a Merfolk Trickster in response to the Hymn to Turok.
Which, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now's the best time to cast it. Taps the Baleful Strix.
Yeah. Loses all abilities.
Which leaves wide open.
Yeah. An attack for 2 in the air. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this
yeah, I'm really liking this.
Like Digger says in chat, Merfolk Trickster is another one of those cards that just doesn't get as much play as it. Is that a mutate?
That is a mutate. There is a mutate card in the list.
Is that the octopus?
I believe so. Let me just double check here. So that is Sea Dasher Octopus. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Mutate is whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's fantastic.
Built on Curious Obsession.
Yep.
That's freaking cool. I like that.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that this is the exciting Standard-esque stuff added to Legacy that's exciting.
Yeah.
Not every deck
just had a quick thought as well. If Rax was actually to mutate the octopus on top of the spell queller, it would lose the edict would be gone forever.
Yeah.
Because it would lose the ability to give the edict back when the spell queller leaves play.
That's pretty cool. Looks like Rax is they're gonna brainstorm.
Yeah. Much less fancy brainstorm this time.
Yeah, but I like those. That's our brainstorm.
They're still good. Just not nearly as full art or shiny.
True. Very true. But if Rax keeps it up, they very well may have a playset soon. Very good, very strong player.
Yes. Yeah, and actually there's a lot of players who've been making a real big run this past week and a bit here, especially trying to get the last couple points they need in order to cement a position in the Invitational that's coming up at the end of the month.
Right. And Snapcaster Witch in the chat says that they are not sure because mutated, they would retain those abilities, which is true. When they do mutate, they do retain the abilities. Looks like.
Are we getting a spell stutter sprite here?
In response to the brainstorm?
Yeah.
That's super
And it's just a hard counter on brainstorm. Wow, that's awesome.
Remember when your Grixis control deck was good? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah. I actually tried playing variant of it last month's league. Didn't go too well, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, Grixis control is just such a blast. Kill that.
Yes.
Counter that. Make a threat.
Yeah.
But it's really getting slapped hard by this flash deck. It's just got every answer, and it's got the threats. It's incrementally beating it down.
I agree. That's the other thing, too, is that if we ever see Veil of Summer disappear from the format, Grixis Control will be on the way back in a huge way.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like Verdant's going to fetch.
Fetching here again, up to 5 mana. Getting a Badlands.
Another.
Yeah, looks like we also have Verdant with another fetch land that hasn't been cracked yet either.
Right.
Scalding Tarn in the middle there.
Mm-hmm. There's the Angler.
Ooh, big fish. Big fish. This is another card that's actually been on the down tick lately with Oko, is you spend all this time and resources trying to cast this Gourmet Angler out at an affordable rate, and then it just gets turned into an elk.
Gets turned into a little fish.
Yeah.
Whiteboard of Brains.
Ooh, I love this. All the mismatched brainstorms.
This tribal is doing it all. Fetch.
Yeah.
Clean up after the
there
brain.
as well.
Rax has got so much man. Mom on board. Yeah. And mutated spell queller, spell setter sprite, a trickster. It's just
there's so much going on for Rax right now. I would be thoroughly impressed if Verdant can come back from this.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially double the life. Here comes in
3 flying.
You got a block, but Mom's there. But that's gonna lose your mom.
Yeah. Or are we getting a Drown in the Lock in response? Interesting.
There's another spell queller. Ouch.
Another spell queller to eat this Drown in the Lock. Ow.
Just that's so brutal.
Yeah. And then you're gonna lose a Strix here as well, which is super bad.
Yep. So
ow.
Spell starter sprite's the only thing that's gonna make contact, but it also prevents Rax from drawing a card off the Sea Dasher Octopus as well.
Yeah.
But this might be,
if I was in Verdant's position, I'd be scooping right up as well, unless you have a Toxic Deluge or something like that coming in. Oh, man.
Let's take a look at the sideboards here. First, let's start on the Verdant side, just because it looks like he's got a little bit more to go. 2 Flusterstorm, 1 Hydroblast, 1 Nile Spellbomb, a Pithing Needle, a pair of Pyroblast, a pair of Surgicals, an Angrath's Rampage, one of my favorite cards from War of the Spark, a Back to Basics, a Narset, no, you not going to draw no cards, 2 Plague Engineer, and there's your Toxic Deluge.
So, out of here, I definitely like the Toxic Deluge for sure. Absolutely. Yep. I think Pyroblast is also really good here.
Mm-hmm. Especially with how much permission. And it kills it grabs the familiar.
Yeah. And the big thing, though, is that it being able to hit a lot of the flash creatures coming in particular, just being able to just have 1 mana and vindicate a spell queller could be game breaking at some point.
Well, I think if we look, every single creature with flash is actually blue.
Yeah. That is correct. Every single one does, yeah.
So that's a whole nother answer against every single threat in this deck that can be played on the stack.
Yep.
So I would have to agree.
I think if I knew Rax's deck, I might be inclined for Pithing Needle just because there are Aether Vials, even though we didn't see any of that game, but Verdant may not know that. What are your thoughts?
I actually agree. I probably would not put it in just because I saw nothing except for a creature deck.
Ooh, we did see a Mother of Runes, though. Pithing Needle might be worth it for Mom.
Maybe. But you also only saw, well, you did see 2. He did not see a Stepmom. So
No.
I would absolutely bring it in knowing that I had stepmom and mom both that I had been with. But
Yeah, and
that's just it.
Aether Vial.
Yeah, and that's just it. You have one pithing needle too, so you have one answer for 3 threats that you want to try and answer.
That's
You can
true.
also use it for Judge's Familiar.
Yeah, and this is
Because
why I
that's
like Melrod in my Grixis control.
So yeah, Plague Engineers are probably as good as it is. I think there was a pretty hefty mix of creatures there. You saw a merfolk, you
Yeah.
saw an octopus, you saw a spirit, you saw a fairy, you saw a human. I don't think I'd probably bring those in. But
No, and even then, if you're like, you could go fairy wizard, I guess,
true, trying to be
for the
cute.
spell stutter sprite. But at the same time, you're not going to be able to hit either mom or stepmom because they're clerics.
True.
So it's kind of all
And
over the place with that one.
right. On the Rax's
Sorry, go ahead.
side, go ahead. Read
Yeah,
off what Rax
and
has
for
got.
Rax's sideboard, we got 1 blue elemental blast, 1 path to exile, 2
Mhm.
spell pierce, 2 containment priest, 2 rest in peace, 2 Umezawa's Jitte, 2 Kea Orzhov usurper, also 2 plague engineers, and a restoration angel. So here, I actually like restoration angel just
Yeah.
because that Grixis control is trying to 1-for-1 you a lot of the time. Restoration angel being able to blink something and fizzle the removal is really powerful.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really like Restoration Angel here just for the simple fact that it gives you another answer. Another
Yeah.
answer against theirs. It's another one. It's another 1-for-1, but you're up.
Yeah. I
For
actually
people.
almost like Rest in Peace here too, just because that we did see Drown in the Lock and Gurmag Angler and Snapcaster Mage.
True. My only
And
downside to that is you bring in that. What does it actually? What are you taking out that actually?
that's the issue.
You could almost get rid of the vials, but knowing that they're on so many counter spells, I think I would probably leave the vials in.
Yeah. Other than that, maybe Blue Elemental Blast, I guess, if you're worried about Kolaghan's command, but that's the only card I could think of that would be worthwhile bringing in for, so I'm
Yeah,
not
that or
sure on that
bolt.
one. Yeah, that or Bolt. Yeah,
But
if you're able to counter a timely Bolt, that could be really good.
right. I with 3 Judges Familiars though, I don't know if it's. Yeah, I guess I take. No, I'm kind of back and forth. It's a one. Probably the fact that they are playing red and being able you want to take them off of red, it kind of cuts them off a large portion of their deck. Granted, a lot of their removal is black anyway, but
Yeah.
that just gives you another answer to their red.
Mm-hmm.
Chisel
Thank
Tizzle
you for the
1.
follow.
Yeah, thank you for the follow. Chisel Tizzle. That's a hell of an.
Indeed.
Yeah, and Snapcaster Witch in the chat says, I guess Plague Engineer technically can let K Command have text against Spellqueller. I totally agree, but like you even said, that's a 1 card for another 1 card to just be able to
Yeah.
have an answer.
The other thing too is Spirit is honestly, in my opinion, not really what you'd want to name any against that deck.
I'd probably want to take him off Mom, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'd be most worried about is that because you have things like Lightning Bolt, like Fatal Push, that can actually just hard answer a Spell Queller.
Right.
Whereas K Command, I would rather save that for because the ability to deal with 2 cards, like say an Aether Vial and something else.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So,
I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I just kind of it kind of depends, I guess, on what you really want to do, where you want to put your.
Yeah. Looks like Rax is keeping their 7 and Verdant is mulliganing to 6 again. So this is 2 games in a row with a mulligan for Verdant. Perfect.
Yeah, keep 6. Cool. So Rax is on 7. Verdant is going to be on the play and start off with a Delta.
Yep. Just pass the turn there.
Let it strand pass.
Fetch go.
It's fetch land. Yeah, Plague Engineer can name human or wizard. That is very true. But you also only saw one wizard and one human either.
That's true.
And you have 2 Plague Engineers.
Yeah. Also of note as well is even if the Spell Stutter sprite does have actually no, because Spell Stutter sprite is equal to the number of fairies you control, so it would immediately die if you cast counter CMC 0.
Yeah. So and actually Trickster and Spell Stutter sprite are both wizards.
Oh, okay, so there are Trickster being a wizard works as well. And to turn Brainstorm, 2 back on top.
And a fetch.
Delta, so we're definitely not Brainstorm locked here.
No. It's just a super clean, although it's a little worrying seeing that so early, but
yeah.
Go gets a bad land. All the mana's colors are on.
I would imagine we see a Baleful Strix here, but
probably. It gives you a nice answer, especially after a shuffle. Or a nice draw, I should say. Plus it gives you the threat. And Baleful Strix is, Baleful Strix is like a house.
Oh, it's such a good card. It's one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, 2 mana, draw you a card, plus have a super evasive threat that can kill any creature.
Good old Deathbird.
Yep. Looks like Strix is going to resolve. Back over to Rax. Basic plane, or island.
Yeah.
These are the type of games that I really enjoy with Magic. They're super interactive. You're not just sitting there playing by yourself in a little closed off room. Here you just want to counter off or combo off as fast as you can. 2 very interactive, 2 different game plans, but still fight on that same kind of axis. That's what makes it exciting.
I think that's actually just in general one of the things I like about Legacy so much is just the amount of interaction in the format.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Because when in Modern, you get a lot of super linear decks that are trying to just ignore what your opponent's doing a lot of the time.
Right.
And in Legacy, you do have those decks. However, most of those decks just die to a Forcible.
Right.
Like Charbelcher or Spanish Inquisition. So it looks like we're getting a Brainstorm in response to the hymn here. So I imagine there's something Rax doesn't want to get trashed here.
Probably.
Either that or they're actually looking for some way to counter that.
Well, that's the nice thing with Brainstorm in response to any kind of discard or Thoughtseize or anything like that. It hunts for an answer, and it also allows you to hide what you don't want them to find.
Yeah. And also of note, with this being in Mercadian Masks Brainstorm, that means Rax, all 4 Brainstorms are different.
Which is awesome.
Yes. How's it going, Mr. Jack Dax? Glad you could make it.
Yeah.
Looks like we're just hiding what's on top and then throwing it all away.
Yep.
Ooh, 7 cards. I hate rolling dice for this. You almost have to roll a D10 or a D20.
Pretty much. This is suspenseful. You know, they're going to do D12. Hey, look, 7.
Yeah, they're going to figure out how it works.
Oh,
and now it should just be 1 to 6, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine they're just going to take one of the dice away here.
There you go.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
It's so much... Oh, Spell Stutter Sprite. And the Brainstorm.
Ooh. Ouch.
Verdant loses points. How dare you? Dare you make Rax
especially
discard
that Brainstorm.
That specific Brainstorm. Verdant's going to pass it over.
For one with the Baleful Strix, down to 19 on Rax's side.
Yeah,
Oof,
and a
Wasteland
fetch.
here.
Wasteland and a fetch.
Yeah. Grabbing a Tundra, so definitely not nearly as mana heavy as last time was, for sure.
Well, and at the same time, too, Rax saw no Wastelands last game, so whatever you want to go get, world is your oyster. There's a Rest in Peace.
Ooh, there is the Rest in Peace.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Verdant, you definitely want to fight over this, I think.
You think so?
Because the way I look at it is that your Snapcasters, your Gurmags, and the Return a Creature mode on Kolaghan's Command
Right.
as well as Drown in the Lock are all turned off.
That is true. Drown on the Lock is now nothing.
Yeah, Drown in the Lock is actual no text.
That is something I did not think about. Unless you want to destroy a 0-mana creature.
Ooh, Narset here. Interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Looks like it's resolving. Tick down.
Yep. So, and that's we've gotten to see quite a few sideboard cards already. So it's interesting to see the direction that they went when they were doing or sideboarding themselves against each deck. So
it looks like Verdant's actually grabbing a Diabolic Edict here, which I think could be good because with Rax having an empty board right now, you have a lot more control over when you're casting it and what die.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when there is an empty board, Diabolic Edict is just as good as any other removal spell that you could have.
Exactly. If not better, because it kills indestructible creatures too.
Correct. Looks like Rax pass it over.
Because an empty board is the best time to try and Edict a Merit Lage.
Right.
Tick down again.
Yeah. Might as well get the value out of it.
Yeah.
And there's a hymn.
There's a hymn. Yeah.
Now,
this hymn would be very good. If this hymn resolves, this is going to be very bad for Rax.
Well, this is basically going to be picking apart their hand to the point of no return. Because this means that Verdant has the opportunity. Whoa, wrong card.
wrong card. There you go.
I was going to say, man, I want to cast that.
Yeah. I'm sure Rax would have loved to have seen the Diabolic Edict there, but...
Hold on, let me play my trickster.
I'll flash in a creature so it doesn't do anything. Don't do that. So you got to be very careful here. And that's the other thing, too, is that you can't even brainstorm effectively here, because you'll only be able to draw one, bottom 2 of the cards, right? So you go down to 3 on casting the brainstorm, draw up to 4, put 2 back, and then you're hellbent anyway, because the hymn will discard the other 2.
Right.
So that Narset, actually, if Rax was relying on a brainstorm to get out of this, it's not going to work.
No.
However, though, if you can kind of choose your own destiny in a sense in terms of what goes to the garbage, then that could be it. But regardless, if this hymn resolves and you cast a spell, you're going to lose. Or if you cast a brainstorm, you're going to lose your whole hand.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Narset's pretty good. Definitely no chains, but
no
not bad.
Chains.
Oh, Chains of Mephistopheles is a powerful magic card.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's no chains.
Oh, it looks like we're just going to see the hymn resolve here.
Man, that's... What a total different game 2 versus game 1, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One deck completely in control, and now the other is completely in.
Yeah. We're getting 6, so we lose
Cunning
here.
Nightbinder and the Brazen Borrower.
Oh, losing that Brazen Borrower's got to hurt big time.
Yeah. Champagne. Chains isn't also dig through time. Totally agree. So Strix is going to get in, knock Rax down to 16. They're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Brandon,
it looks like we're just going to see the Sea Hunter Octopus here, just vanilla flash.
Yep,
just 2/2. Now, to be fair, I actually do... Actually, no, because Narset means that you can't draw the cards here. That being said, though, if the Sea Hunter Octopus attacks, it's just...
You'll still draw because it'll be on your opponent's.
Does attacks.
Oh, no,
well,
it
would if it hits you, but that being said, you just need the Narset to go, right?
Yeah.
And we're just getting an Edict in response here, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, Verdant and Command and Control.
Sea Dasher Octopus. I was like, wait, isn't Sea Hunter Octopus like a 7-mana card?
They're all the same. Like Rex is going to use the Wasteland, take out the Underground Sea.
Yeah.
Verdant really needs to come up with a threat that's dealing more than 1 damage here, though.
Notably here, taking out the Underground Sea and only being able to follow up the Badlands is really bad for Verdant, not getting access to double.
Yeah.
That being said, I do like following up with a second Baleful Strix.
Well, just for the simple fact that you got to draw a card, you also doubled your clock. Because that's
I agree.
eventually Rax is going to climb their way out of this. Now you've got some actual meaningful pressure.
Yeah.
Granted, it's
As a
two.
practitioner of slow beats myself, yeah, doubling your clock is a huge deal.
Right. But
Beat
it's
many
gonna.
people to death with Imperial Recruiter and Painter Servant, so
There's a Snapcaster.
yeah. So this is huge though in terms of trying to cut the clock down because you're
It
almost running
quadrupled it.
3-turn clock now. Yeah.
Yeah. Here comes the answers. There's a
Yeah.
swords.
Swords to plowshares.
Probably. What do you pick? Snapcaster because more life.
I'd be saying probably the Snapcaster here. I'd imagine just because it's 2 damage versus the Baleful Strix is only 1.
Right.
Yeah, I think I agree with that there. And then we get Verdant up to 19. And then just pass the turn back. And Rax is down to 11 after that combat. Land pass. Oof. Rax looks like they're in a rough spot right now.
Yeah, I think this might be the end of it. And there's a ponder. That's such a good card to have right now.
Yeah. Especially being able to draw a card, and then if this is able to get Verdant another blue source, which it looks like it isn't, but even then for Verdant, I don't feel bad about the position I'd be in, even if I am light on blue.
Right.
Dirty, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, thank you for the follow, Dirty. 2 Baleful Strix coming in, and now this is the interesting thing as well with Rax, with them being on flash at any given time, they could flash something in.
Yeah.
However, the fact that they're consistently making land drops and that Verdant has drawn so many cards here, I don't think you playing a card is really going to do a whole lot anyway because he's got to answer.
Yeah. Not only that too, but even with all the draw go that's been going on here, Rax still only has 2 cards in hand.
Right.
Oh, so we are seeing the Pyroblast come in as well.
Yep.
And this is definitely a card you want to counter for sure, because giving the ability to make all your other flash threats uncounterable and cost less is really, really strong.
And take note, another card that we have not seen a single one of yet. That's Aether Vial.
Yeah.
There's going to be a sword.
Another swords here.
It looks like Rax is just and a force pitching the nameless
Drown
card.
in the lock.
The card that doesn't do anything now.
Yep. Card with no relevant text. Losing a life off that force of will there. And I think that's correct from Verdant. You definitely fight over trying to keep this clock up.
Oh, absolutely.
Because going from a 3-turn clock to a 5-turn clock is a huge issue when Rax is allowed to play on.
Yeah, absolutely. Every turn him sideways. Next turn, turn him sideways. There's a bolt to finish it off.
Oh, there's a bolt to finish it off.
And
down to 2.
Batch.
So Rax obviously has something going on here.
Right. Hardcast Force.
5. Hardcast Force of Will. Let's do this.
Yep. And there's a force and response. That's going to be it. Look at the
force.
2 forces in hand, especially after the just casting another.
Yeah. Wow, that was well.
That was
played
a hell of a game.
There.
Absolutely. Yep. Verdant was in control pretty much the entire game, having answered to every threat, even through the rest in peace. It really didn't.
Yes.
It really didn't hurt him much at all.
No, for sure.
Maybe it slowed him down, but at the same time too, Gurmagingler at that point would have just eaten a swords. So
yeah, I guess that is true there, Chaotic Bear. Yeah, with Drown in the Lock pitching to Force of Will, it technically does have relevance.
Absolutely. Not to bring up bad feelings, but I've heard the same thing about the new Walking Dead Glenn. At least you can pitch him to Force of Will.
Very relevant.
Oh, terrible. But I'm going back on boards. I think I bring in the Spell Pierces.
Yeah, I think
Rax's side.
I think Rax definitely wants the Spell Pierces in here for sure. Containment Breach just is not relevant, if not detrimental, anyway.
Right. The Jitte is definitely not.
No, the Jitte, I think it being an artifact and with having as many Kolaghan's command as there are, I think it's almost a liability in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Um,
I still think the way that they had boarded before worked fairly well. Other than I don't think the rest in pieces really. I didn't get to see how much the rest in pieces actually did stop. Did he have gourmet anglers in his hand? We have no idea. That he couldn't cast.
yeah, we
Snapcaster
didn't
being
see
able to not
anything.
get anything, but at that point he was in such control of the game that it didn't even matter. So
Yeah,
I do like rest in peace in general. I just don't know if it does enough.
yeah. I'm actually thinking on it. I'm pretty sure that one octopus that Rax cast
Sea
was
Dasher
the
Octopus.
only creature. Yeah, the Sea Dasher Octopus was the only creature Rax cast in all of Game 2.
Yeah, because they hymned out the Brazen Borrower and the Spell Stutter
Oh no,
Sprite.
they did also cast the they did also cast one of the
Cunning Night Bonders.
yeah, Cunning Night Bonders, but it did get countered.
Yep.
And I'm really liking this whole thing that Rax has going on though. Flash is a very, very powerful mechanic.
Yeah, I really like this whole concept. You could even trim it out, and
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
a cat on
oh
the
gosh, there's a cat on Rax's side of the board. Oh my gosh.
that's not legal, and it was not on the board.
No.
No, this is a really good matchup to have round one because a lot of interaction, a lot of fun gameplay. Both have
Yeah.
creatures, both have clocks they want to establish. Um, Pretty excited for round three. And we again, for all you guys watching, we are the MTGPL. We are a paper legacy Discord. We play paper legacy all day, every day. We are just about to tick over 1,500 members. We play legacy all day, every day. We just started our October league. What was the final number? Do we have over 60?
56 players.
Okay, 56 players in the August league. These are Tuesday night legacy fight nights. We also do a Saturday weekly challenge. We have Friday FNMs, which are sometimes themed. Last Friday it was modern. A couple Fridays before that we did some pre-modern, EDH, Pioneer. We also play Legacy. And I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. My name again, Beyond Sadistic, and Prez, my bud, hanging out with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's good. And we also have an invitational coming up at the end of the month in October as well, a quarterly invitational. Anyone who is interested in getting in there, any match win that you get on either a legacy fight night or in the league or in a weekly challenge on Saturdays, any match win in there will award you one towards the invitational.
Right. And then we tally all those
So
points at the end, and we have a big get together for that as well.
yeah, and that'll be a super interesting tournament. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I am too. We've got some pretty phenomenal legacy players in Discord.
We do.
And with how diverse our meta is, it's ridiculous decks that we.
Yeah.
Looks like.
And for anyone who's worried about just playing the same meta slave decks all day, every day, that's not quite exactly the case. It's a lot harder to just unload a deck you've been playing for 6 years than it is to just go to a bot and trade for the new hotness.
And
so a lot of people stick to what they know.
That's exactly that is so true. And I think today this shows exactly this. This Flash Tribal deck is even Grixis control. You don't see it all the time. So, and it's clearly something that Verdant has had for a while. Looks like we're gonna play the Fetchland Dance for turn 1. And Rax did ship back their 7 and kept.
Yeah.
Give me a brainstorm.
We're getting a brainstorm main phase, it looks like. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with Legacy, there is a very good reason why Brainstorm has never been printed into Modern, and there's a very good reason for banned in Modern. Very, very powerful cantrips.
Yes. Yeah, I agree, Champagne.
Yeah. Yeah, him, especially when your opponent's on a mulligan and down cards, him is just backbreaking. And it's actually really unfortunate there's a lot less him. Man, that card's good.
Right.
Oh, basic island, so we're not getting him right now.
Love that basic island. Is that the jumpstart one? Because Verdant's going to play a Baleful
Could be.
Strix. No, I've seen
Actually,
it
it
before.
might be Shadows over Innistrad, but
Maybe.
so we're getting another basic island from Rax here.
Just land
5
go.
cards in hand and just pass.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think the island I'm thinking of is the mill one, but it doesn't look like that at all.
Yeah.
Here's a trickster.
Ooh, this is bad. So mid-combat here, the Trickster resolves is going to turn the Baleful Strix into a 1/1 with no abilities, which means it's
No
going to lose
flying.
its flying, and it's also going to lose Death Touch. So the
Yep.
Merfolk Trickster can just eat this.
And just like that, cat's going to eat that island.
Yep.
Like Verdant's going to fetch in response.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Verdant's hand is right now, but it might be worth fighting over this, maybe. Kind of depends. Even if you can at least offer up a trade, I think that would be good.
Right.
But just if you lose the Baleful Strix and they get to keep their Trickster, that's really bad. Ooh, here we go, K command. So we're probably going to get discard a card 2 damage.
Or you're going to get forced pitching a C-Octopus.
Yep. And it looks like that's just going to happen.
Yeah, that was super clean. That was a well-fought battle, but that's exactly the kind of interaction you love to see in Legacy. Fight.
I agree.
Combat, or response, counter, shake hands, walk away.
Yeah.
Like Rex is going to fetch.
Yeah. I'd imagine basic planes here, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more than likely, that's the obvious choice. It gives you at least some white. Still not going for Tundra, though.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. Verdant does have a
Back to basics.
I think Verdant has a back to basics, or was
He
it
does.
Rax that has a back to basics?
No, Verdant does in his sideboard.
Yeah. Rax does not have a back to basics. Yes, it is Verdant. So
Trickster's
yeah, I
gonna be
wonder if Rax is playing around that.
Could be.
Yeah. Well, back to basics or Blood Moon. Usually, Grixis Control plays one of those. Okay, this card, if this resolves, this is oof. That's not good. Okay, Verdant has to kill that thing right away.
Well, then there's a bolt for it.
Yeah.
It makes all everything flash cheaper. Fetch
On top of making it uncounterable, which is a big deal.
Go get a Tundra, Spell Stutter Sprite. Hey, thanks, Bolt.
Yeah.
Or an Underground Sea. I think it's the first Underground Sea we've seen Rax put down.
Yep. Yeah, imagine that, finding out game 3, apparently your opponent is black card deck.
Right? Oh. Okay, we're playing this now.
You were on 3 colors. Well,
Pierce. No, Sea Dasher.
Oh.
Wow. Might as well use the flash.
Mutate,
and then
Yeah. So I actually like that a lot because that's
And there's the
Ooh. Ow, that hurts.
Yep.
Double bolt.
I'm sure Verdant would have much rather used those going to face rather than creatures, but here comes another. There's a Gurmag Angler.
Ooh. Okay, actually, following up with the Gurmag Angler, I don't mind the double bolt there.
Right.
That being said,
that's going to eat a sword so fast.
Oh yeah.
And leaves a bolt
in the yard, which I agree with on that because
absolutely.
Snapcaster's still a live card. Is Rax hellbent right now? Uh-oh.
I think so.
Because that's really bad.
This might be the end of it pretty quickly.
There's a crunch for 5. Good old 1-mana 5/5s.
Basic swamp. And pass? No. Okay, come in.
3.
Oh, Narset, duh.
Ooh.
That's Narset. Even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. dig the nail in the coffin when you're already ahead.
No, Bear. Unfortunately, Gurmagingler was not errata to be legendary. There's a Plague Engineer.
Oh, and the Toxic Deluge here.
Oh, that's a Toxic
Oof.
Deluge, yeah. It's a Plague
Yeah,
Engineer.
that's really bad for Rax.
Yeah. That basically says anything you cast is going to be dead.
Yeah. Well, especially with the with Gurmagingler too, because Gurmagingler is bigger than any creature in Rax's list. So
Right.
even if Rax was to play 3/4 creatures in one turn, all they have to do is just Toxic Deluge. They could go X's 4, and the Gurmagingler still survives.
Yeah, absolutely. And that eats every single thing in Rax's deck.
Yes.
And there's an Edict.
And a Diabolic Edict just for good measure.
Yeah, so there's no coming out of this.
I don't think so.
Short of a swords, but I would almost be willing to bet Verdon's got answers in his hand.
Yeah.
So Rax has got
Land just
2
to make
more
sure.
turns.
Three.
There's a Lily.
Oh
Holy
my
crap.
goodness.
I think that's
Man,
about lights
Verd
out.
just showing no mercy. And the fact as well that, you know, with the inability to draw cards from Narset as well, like, this is just so bad for Rax right now. We're crunching it for 5 again, putting Rax down to 2.
Plus,
so next turn, we will see
Narset.
if Rax is going to concede or if they're going to keep fighting.
And a Lily backup. There's a Spell Stutter Sprite.
Yeah.
Lord, give me strength.
Flashing it in. Yep.
It's just going to eat an Edict,
Draw. Well,
Yeah.
even then, the Liliana kills it on the uptick as well, so I'd almost just kill it with the uptick and then
Sure.
Diabolic Edict if they try flashing a blocker.
Jitte.
Ooh,
Holy.
this is very good, though. So the Edict is definitely going to get fired off here for sure.
Right.
There's absolutely no way that Rax can or Verdon can allow this to connect. Because the Jitte gaining 4 life is too much.
Yeah. And there's the Brainstorm.
On an empty hand, I love that.
Yeah, Rax is just going to pick him up.
Rax is just going to scoop it up.
Oh, that was such
Very
a good...
well played by both.
Yeah, that was such a good game. Rax coming out super strong. Game 1 with Tribal Flash, just showing Grixis control what was up, but Verdon able to handedly turn it around game 2 and 3 and just control and dominate the battlefield, stop anything that Rax had. He was the answer man.
Yep. And even then, it just goes to show as well that Grixis control is still plenty good. You do get blown out by Veil of Summer. However, as long as, you know, the old adage of Charbelcher decks, I need to dodge Force of Will decks. Same thing, just dodge the Veil of Summer decks and you're doing all right. And also, to be honest, Veil of Summer is not terribly big from what I've seen on the Discord right now. Right. So I think Grixis control has a lot of juice behind it, and it could go a long ways.
I agree. Well, I think that's going to do it for us for round 1. My name is Beyond Sadistic. That is Perez. We are the MTGPL, and this is our Legacy Fight Night. That was the end of round number 1. Stick around. We got round number 2 coming. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thank you.